What's up, guys? This is AJ Leon at ajleon.me. We're on our Rise of the Cubicle Farmer road trip, and today we are in Chicago. We're hanging out with Saya Hillman of Mac and Cheese Productions, coolest name of any company I've ever heard ever. And we're going to be talking to her about just the entrepreneurial journey, the things that she's been able to accomplish and the way she's been able to do them. I think it was very unique, even in this trip, like of the people that we've met. It's very, very unique. So we'll get into some of the specifics. So thanks for being with us, Saya. We appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
All right, so you just celebrated 6 years of self-employment. What were you doing before your job now, or your work now?
Well, I was in the 9-to-5 world for 4 years, and for 3 of those years I was at a nonprofit, and I was a program manager at a nonprofit that taught reading through the arts, so reading through dance and drama to low-income Chicago public school students all over the city. So my job was to manage all of the teachers that we sent out to all the different schools, to meet with principals, set up budgets, buy supplies, do schedules, that type of thing. And then it was a great job, especially right out of school.
Yeah,
I had a lot of
cool.
responsibility.
Yeah.
I was a 21-year-old running around doing all this stuff.
Super cool, yeah.
Yeah, so I learned a lot. And actually it brought me into neighborhoods that I never would have gone into otherwise. So it was an eye-opener as well. And I loved the job, but kind of after 3 years, I just felt like I love the nonprofit world, but I kind of plateaued, and I was looking for more of a challenge. So I just actually randomly saw a posting I went to Boston College, and I was looking at the Career Center one day, and I saw a posting for associate producer position at a nonprofit that makes documentaries on social issues, so education, poverty, public housing, immigration, that type of thing. And I'm really passionate. I majored in English and sociology, so I'm really interested in social issues.
Sure.
So I applied, even though I had no film background at all, and I was really lucky because I think it's a really hard field to break into if you don't have, I was competing with people from NYU and who went to film school, and but by sheer luck, or I don't know what it was, maybe I was really charming that day. I had my interview, but my boss said he was willing to hire me and train me in the technical aspects of the role because I was so passionate about the actual subject and topic matters.
And how long were you there?
I was there for a year.
And then you said something interesting just a little while before. You were like, after a year, I realized I never wanted to have a boss again. Like, what were the elements of 9 to 5? Like, what was it that made you realize I need to be self-employed?
I'm going to answer that 2 ways. One, I was actually let go, so he helped me realize that I never wanted to.
Thank you very much.
Let's see. Long story short, I just think that it's really difficult to say that you have to be creative and productive during Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, during those set hours. Sometimes I'm more creative Friday night at midnight or something like that. And some days on a random Tuesday, like I just may not be feeling it. But when you're in that kind of 9 to 5 corporate world, you still have to go and show up. And I think we're getting really good, and we meaning 9 to 5 people are getting really good at procrastination and looking like you're busy and wasting a lot of time when you could, if you're not invested in what you're doing. So it was that sense of having to be forced to work during certain hours. Also, the main reason my boss and I didn't see eye to eye, and I was planning to leave anyway, but it happened a little sooner than I had hoped to have something set up before I left. But the main issue was that I feel like I'm a really commonsensical person, and I absolutely will do things that are asked of me and work really hard and put in extra effort if they make sense. And my boss and I just didn't see eye to eye on those types of things. I'm always 15 minutes early, otherwise I think I'm late. I love Excel spreadsheets. I love Google Docs and systems, efficiency, that type of stuff. And he was more kind of artsy, creative, big picture, didn't think about that type of stuff.
And when you left, so you got let go, and at that moment you were like, I need to find a job, or you were like, hell no, I'm starting my own thing now, this is my time?
At that moment, that night I went out to pizza with my mom and then came home.
That is the best thing to do after a day like that.
Absolutely. Especially in Chicago. Chicago pizza's good. Went out to pizza with my mom, and I was not, there was no crying or devastation because, like I said, I had been planning to leave anyway. So I wasn't panicking. Like I thought, now looking back, I should have panicked. Absolutely. Because being in the nonprofit world, I didn't have a huge savings account. I mean, I should have panicked. But I went home and I made a list of all the things. I knew I didn't want to work for anybody ever again. And so I was like, all right, if I don't work for anybody ever again, these are the things, no matter how ridiculous or silly they sound, these are the things that I love doing and I would love to do on a regular basis. And if I can make money off of these things, and I think I would be happy. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And on the list, that was the next thing I was going to ask you about. Like, there's some really cool stuff. Like, some of it's very specific things that you want to work on, and some of it's like, I just want to wear sandals and throw parties and play board games and get paid to do it. How important? I mean, while you were doing that, was that your signpost? Was that something that you were like, I'm gonna write this down. This is a serious thing, and I'm gonna go this way. In other words,
I think it was just I needed to do something to feel like I was being productive, and
sure.
I don't have a business background or anything, and at that point, I was. Being let go was never fun, and there was some sense of shame to it as well,
sure.
and so I wasn't ready. I had one of my, I think, professional gifts or something I have to offer is I have a huge network right now, and at that point I had a huge network as well, but I was too maybe embarrassed to reach out to them, so I was like, I need to do something on my own and come up with some kind of plan before I let everybody know sure. about what happened.
And how important do you think that is? I mean, that's one thing that I think is unique to your story in the sense that like you actually wrote down things that you want. I want my life to be like this way. I want my business life or my employment life, I want it to look like this. How important is that for an entrepreneur now? How important was that to your journey to write things down, actually
I think you need to put it in the universe and put it in the universe other than just, verbally saying. I think writing it down is really important. And I think, I love lists, love lists for everything. I have a boyfriend criteria list, where I live criteria list, all that stuff. And the list, I think what's important about the list is these are just this is your ideal situation, your utopia. These are the things, if all these things come true, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
But you can't be disappointed if, only half of them come true, even if none of them come true.
Yeah.
But I think it's important it's just a way for you to categorize your thoughts, to prioritize, to see, I think envisioning what your utopia looks like will absolutely help you achieve that. And maybe it's not completely fulfilling what you set out, but I mean, this is a cliche, but if you reach for the stars and you don't reach that, but you come a little bit underneath, I mean, that's still pretty good.
Sure, yeah.
But
so get it out there, get it written down.
Absolutely. And then share. And I think the next thing is, after you get it out there, then start sharing it with people, and then people will hold you accountable to that, and you can't just say, well, I'm not going to do it today. Or, people
when
will
it's
start
public,
asking.
it's a little tougher. Yeah, are you doing that?
Absolutely.
Are you doing that? Sure.
And whether it's public, like you tweet about it, or you put it on Facebook, or you put it on a blog, make it public, and people will start asking you about it.
Now, tell me your first steps into starting your business. I think that the place where aspiring entrepreneurs get caught up is, I think everyone has ideas. I mean, everyone that I've ever met has ideas somewhere tucked away somewhere. And the difficulty is that the inertia to jump from the page in your sketchbook to actual market. What did you do? What were the first couple things that you did to get the ball rolling?
Sure. Like I mentioned before, I do have, or I had a pretty expansive network at the time, and I knew that there were a lot of things that I didn't have that would have made sense or would have been really helpful to have, like capital and a huge savings account.
And by network, you mean
just people.
You just
I know a lot of people.
Okay.
I know. So network is, I know a lot of people who are really skilled at lots of different things and
you
really
kept in touch with them during the year. So
Absolutely.
That's important to
Yeah, and get involved in lots of different activities and all that stuff. And so I knew that I didn't have a lot of things that would help someone who wants to start off, mostly fundy, something to fall back on. And also I knew that I didn't want to go, get a Starbucks job or that type of thing. I really wanted to try it on my own. So I made another list of, here are the things that I can offer. Here's the things that I have and that I can. I may not have this A, B, and C.
Skills,
right, exactly. But so basically, the main thing, once I kind of formulated what it is I wanted to do, and digital media was what I came up with. After looking at my list of all my passions and interests, I was like, all right, well, maybe if I try digital media and doing production and editing, I think that would really interest me, and I may be able to do it. Then I reached out to everybody that I knew, and I think that you can't be shy about asking for help. What's the worst that's going to happen? Someone will say no. You're not going to die. You're not what. So I asked everybody that I knew for help. Being I don't know what camera to buy, and also you need to you get tons of advice, and you need to take everything with a grain of salt, because a lot of my peers were telling me, go get this $3,000, $10,000 camera, and it's like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to live for 2 months. Like, I can't. So, I took all the advice I got, and I kind of tweaked it to my needs and my situation.